A $4,800 drone just punked a $15 million air defense unit. How does that math break Moscow's strongest gates? In this breakdown, you'll see how FPV swarms, motorbike infantry at $12,000 per rider, and jammers carved open the GRU perimeter and turned static defenses into blind metal. Stay to see how those cheap platforms forced Pantsir crews into bad choices, and why control of the spectrum, not steel, decided the breach. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. One $4,800 FPV makes a $15 million Pantsir. Choose between shooting or saving ammo. Which choice loses slower? Start with the ledger. A garage-built FPV runs about $4,500 to $4,800 per unit. A motorbike rider with kit, spares, optics, and training clocks in near 12 grand. Across the field sits a Pantsir S1, a complex turret of radar, cannons, and missiles priced in the mid-8 figures, and each interceptor costs more than the drone it hunts. You don't need a finance degree to see the tilt. You just need to watch how that price gap bleeds a battery dry. Air defense wants clean tracks and a steady beat. Swarms erase both. You get noise on every bearing, glints at odd angles, and false returns that look real enough to demand a shot. Crews shift from hunting to coping. That's when cheap platforms start to dictate the clock. The play often comes in 3 waves. First, decoy drones climb into the radar cone and hang there, forcing search and track modes to commit. Second, jammers switch on and smear the picture, throwing range gates wide and pushing the crew to optical sightlines. Third, real FPVs ride the dirt at knee height, short profile, high speed, skimming ground clutter where software filters hesitate. The shooters must decide in seconds which target is worth a missile and which one to wait out. When an interceptor costs 10 to 50 times more than the thing it kills, the math flips the kill chain. Every missile burned is a magazine slot gone, and in a hot zone you don't reload calmly. You defend on what you have. You watch counters tick down. The attacker loses plastic and prop hubs, the defender loses options. Think of it like a guarded corridor. A soft knock makes the guard unlatch the door. He checks the hallway. That's the decoy. The latch is open now. The real intruder sprints past his shoulder before he can bolt it again. Drones play both roles, one forces the posture change, the other cashes it in. Open sources have shown point defenses dumping rounds into bait and then getting hit moments later by follow-ons that flew a different line. Interceptor price tags are public enough to compare with common commercial builds and open hardware parts lists. The spread isn't a rumor, it's visible in procurement and in wreckage. Timing seals it. Human reaction runs on cycles: see, decide, act, reassess. Saturate for 90 to 180 seconds and you push a battery out of rhythm. The commander starts to hesitate, then overcorrect, then fire at the wrong window. Meanwhile, the low flyer that matters crosses the fence line in 10 seconds and is gone from view in 12 more. Most misses aren't bad aim. They're bad timing imposed by the other side. One Pantsir can scan and shoot, but it can't watch every bearing at once. Angle it at the sky and the low route cracks open. Swing it to the trees and a top-down path appears. Hit it from 3 directions at once and one face stays uncovered long enough for the cheapest attacker to pick the gap. That's the mini payoff. The unit designed to protect the high-value site becomes the choke point the swarm exploits. Now that the gate is ajar, the next step isn't more missiles. It's speed on dirt and silence in alleys. Watch how motorbikes and bicycles turn a hole in the net into a ground breach. The air fight buys seconds, the riders spend them, carrying jammers, cutters, and a handful of fresh FPVs to widen the crack. Why ride a bicycle into a war zone? Because silence and mass beat a single armored silhouette. Motorbike infantry run light at about 12 grand per rider. Bicycles move even cheaper and quieter, slipping where engines echo. Drones scout ahead, feeding live eyes to the riders. Sapper bots crawl in the dirt, cut doors, nose wires, and blow seams in fences and walls. That's the ground playbook: low signature movers, forward sensors, and unmanned breachers that trade bulk for speed. Static defenses script for columns. They game out lanes, choke points, and fields of fire that stop a line of vehicles. But dozens of small signatures break that script. When scooters, bikes, and foot teams flow from alleys, tunnels, and tree lines at once, sensors start to split, guards swivel, and the tidy plan wobbles. No single target stays big enough to anchor fire. Each low-cost unit carries enough to matter and no more. A rider straps a compact jammer pod and a small charge under the seat. Another pockets a handheld EW tool that fuzzes cameras at 10 yards. A third carries 4 FPV reloads and zip ties for a fast swap. Weight stays low. Options stay high. You don't need one miracle gadget. You need 3 simple tools that work under stress. EW sits at the center, not the edge. When broadband noise splashes across receivers, GPS points drift, and spoofed returns stack on screens, defenders lose their quiet helpers and fall back to what they can see with their own eyes. That forces closer engagement, shorter lines, and guesswork under pressure. The team that shapes the spectrum shapes the fight. The mini-raid unfolds in minutes. Drones start by blinding sensors, pecking at cameras, masts, and cheap radars. Bikes roll as the feed shows a blind spot opening, hugging walls and cutting through courtyards where a car can't turn. A sapper bot slides under a gate's first bar and plants a shaped charge. The lock fails with a flat crack and dust. Only after drones map the interior paths, where the wire runs, where the trip lasers blink, where the guard below the stairwell stands, does a tank trundle in. The heavy hull is a finisher, not a door knocker. Legacy armor costs in the hundreds of thousands and up, even before fuel and a trail of maintenance. One rider sits near 12,000 with kit. You can field a small platoon of movers for the price of a single tracked upgrade. Speed and dispersion by the first hour because they reach more doors, faster, than one heavy silhouette can force open. Tempo drives the breach. Contacts stay short. A burst, a move, a cut, then a fade. No static hold. The early goal isn't flags or lines, it's comms nodes, junction boxes, the small hubs that keep orders flowing. Knock those out and the sight grows slow and deaf. That gives the follow-on wave a wider lane than any grenade could carve. The payoff is practical. You don't own the breach. You rent it long enough to punch a command room or a data rack, then you leave as the alarms grow loud. The corridor stays useful for minutes, not hours. That's fine. The cost ledger favors you as long as the exit stays as fast as the entry, with drones still circling and bikes already rolling to the next seam. With corridors open and screens still lying, the question shifts from tactics to scale. How many point defense units can really stop a swarm priced like scooters, not jets? If the answer is, not enough, you already know why the next wave keeps coming. And you know why the crews inside start watching the door, not the sky. The spectrum is terrain now. The cheapest unit that bends it wins the first breach and, more often than not, the objective that matters. You saw how noise, spoof, and swarm turn million-dollar guardians into confused spectators. That's not theory. That's the new playbook: cost imposition, tempo, and angles. Comment your choice below: more drones, more EW, or more armor. What would you buy with $15 million? If you want the mindset that wins, subscribe. Modern war rewards tempo and cost imposition, not walls and weight. Subscribe and join a community that seeks to understand the realities of modern conflict. Your move starts in the spectrum.